by Tropical Acres Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you live today from our respective homes, and in my case, from the temporary broadcast headquarters of the Lunchbox in my bedroom, because there is still work to be done on Casa de Mayo, more insurance money to be milked. That's coming. Gentlemen, how are you today and how was your weekend?
Lubie, how are you hanging out there, Lubie? You all right?
How are you feeling?
I feel a lot better than I did.
So what was the ultimate diagnosis? Do you think it was something you ate, or just be loneliness, broken heart, not having your lovely spouse near you, or being surrounded by Dr. Doolittle's zoo?
There's supposedly this bug going around that is what I got. So the professor who you saw Friday, who didn't look good.
No, he looked like shit. Oh, he looked like crap too.
We did the math. I thought I maybe give it to him. It was the opposite. He was a friend of his, had something a week earlier, very reminiscent to what I had. Then I was with him Tuesday night, and from Tuesday night on is when I started to feel off. So it went from her to him to me. Okay. And that is why I kept my distance from people, because I didn't know what it was and I didn't want to be the one to spread it to people. But yeah, it was some kind of a stomach bug that really zapped me, and I'm way better physically. My experiences on relieving myself are still hit or miss, but I at least feel better. Like I feel like myself, which I don't know, whatever this thing is sort of, it wasn't the end of the world. Like I was able to live, as you could see, I was able to work if I had to, but
you were pretty green in the gills on Thursday and Friday. I mean, Kim Ruddy provided the laugh track, usually provided by Lubie. We had no Lubie laughs on Thursday. That was a record. Never seen you so grim. I mean, you did not want to be there. And when I started putting on my usual disgusting eating display, I really did think you were going to yak right on the table.
It was only the tuna fish got me. Normally I just laugh and I'm grossed out, but because I was sick, the grossed out, really watching you pick it up and then futz with it and then mess with it and then twirl it. I was like, okay.
With all due respect, Lubie and Defo, this is one more reason why I don't love tuna, because even in the best of health, smelling that tuna fish is not the most, let's say, a pleasant odor, aroma. Like, usually.
Be careful. You're walking a very thin line here.
Why is the head of the Tuna Fish Association?
Let's keep
Morris Fishbein is going to be sending people after me. Like MAGA people are going to be storming the various prosecutors and judges' homes, or who knows.
Another weak argument by you, Mike Mayo. But
I think it's great.
The fact that you had it smeared all over your face was like somewhat disgusting. It wasn't the sandwich. That was great. Very, very well prepared there. I mean, it was a good tuna sub, no question.
Look, it's sandwich month, and I have been enjoying my share of sandwiches through the days. And this week we're going to be, I'm hoping we're going to get out to either Gilbert's or Shenanigans for one of our monthly visits, and plenty of good sandwiches at both of those locations. And of course, we have a remote show Wednesday. We're going to be visiting our friends at Max's Grill up in Meisner Park in Boca. You ready for some Boca action? It is going to be a nice visit there. Meisner Park, Max's Grill, been there forever, and the Rappaport's restaurant group are operating it now, and nothing but good things I keep hearing, and they have all kinds of great summer specials there too. How about on the gambling front this weekend? I took a bloodbath. I was mostly at my mother's bedside at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, and all I can say is thank God for the Starbucks on the first floor and mobile phone betting apps, because I was able to get all my Saratoga action in right at the bedside. And
that's weak. I mean, while your mother is possibly, she's
fine,
she's doing okay, but make it sound like you're visiting her at her, deathbed, and
No, it's not a
you're
deathbed
punching away on
situation.
Saratoga as this is happening. I mean, it's disgusting.
What else can I
The
do?
best hospital story I ever saw in terms of degenerate gambling and hospital and relation, working together in tandem was when the Polyman had 6 bypasses. Our good friend the Polyman, and he's in the hospital, and you know how they have that grease board, and it kind of says what's going on, what your blood pressure is, and all this, and it just said patient Paul Massell, conditions clear and cold. And that was it. They literally had the track conditions for Aqueduct posted on his medical chart that day.
So, my mother had her grease board, and on it they wrote 1888 admitted. That
Yeah,
was for
exactly.
me. But no, luckily, obviously there
Doesn't
was
that
some,
upset her? And that she, doesn't she get upset that you're spending your,
she had no idea what I was
child's
doing
inheritance
yesterday.
money on? She's a Jewish mother. Come on,
First of all,
she doesn't
well,
like
first of
you
all,
gambling, Michael.
she's kind of she was at it. All right, let's first of all, she's doing much better. She had a little situation where she was basically the opposite of Lubie, where Lubie was, well, as he put it, relieving himself, and I think that was out of every orifice at one point last week. My mother was a little backed up, and it's a, well, you know what? I don't need to get into the nitty
You're
gritty
going to
during
start
the
the lunch
lunchbox.
week, talking
Yeah,
about Luby's diarrhea and your mother's constipation.
infected bowel.
Nice
They call
job
it.
there, Mr. Host.
And all these doctors, they're giving her all kinds of treatments to try to loosen things up down there. And I was like, all these brilliant minds, and nobody thought of the obvious RX, which is a big bowl of Skyline chili. So
chili.
I
Prunes.
went
What
out
happened to
and
prunes?
Prunes,
They're
your
no longer in
prunes.
vogue.
prunes. My mother drinks prune juice every day. She also takes. It's just you get to a certain point of life where you need stronger measures, apparently. And you know what? Thankfully, yesterday things started to. There was much progress made, and she's been cleared. Hopefully, she's going to be home
Oh, good.
tomorrow, and
All right.
and she's feeling much better after a day of. I tell you what, it was. Yesterday was a stellar day in the hospital room. Even though I hit a couple of races, and now I sound like you, Defo. But they should have put me up for a big exacta in the last race at Saratoga, and the stewards was so in a hurry to get to Ciro's for dinner, they didn't even look at this thing. They didn't even post the inquiry, and my horse got crushed. I got split. I had the winner that was like a 12-1 shot, 13-1 shot, and then I had this other horse that was like 8-1. Came in third, but the second place horse totally came over on him in the last 100 yards, and I thought cost him a placing. But nobody wants to hear my sob story. Let's go on.
Did
to
you
the food.
vow to give up the game forever if they
No,
didn't take this horse down?
no. I tried to
That's
get
always a good one, and then you're pounding away on the next race.
no. I tried to get it all back in the online poker tournament, and then I lost Ace King versus Ace Jack. The other guy has Ace Jack, 2 jacks on the flop, so everything is rigged. It's all rigged against me. It's a witch hunt.
Did you
against me.
console yourself by eating anything in particular?
So the hospital, I did
Go
not
to the cafeteria. Like, what do you do?
No. I had little breaks because during the day my mom's health aid still came out, so it was able to spell me for a little bit, and I went out. Actually, I had a nice dinner last night with my friends, the Bergquists, whose daughter is up at Tampa, but she has a gap of like 2 weeks between the summer session and enrolling in the official fall session. So, and it was her birthday. So we had a nice birthday celebration last night at a local Indian restaurant. We didn't make it up to our friend at Deck and Spice, Shaker at Deck and Spice, but their place is down the block from me here in on Griffin Road, right near Tropical Acres, but it's called Royal India. It's been there a long time. Very nice place. And actually, they redid the interior. The back room now has this kind of glass windows overlooking a canal back there, and it's really well appointed, very pleasant back there. I had a very nice Indian meal, but I got it on the mild side last night because you don't want to be sleeping on a recliner chair in a hospital room and then, having a competition to use the facilities with my own mother. So that was...
Well, at least they have a bar where you can assist yourself, getting off the toilet, which
Yes.
is something you may want to install in your home pretty soon.
Well, we do have that at Casa de Mayo because it
good.
is a senior now. It's senior proof,
Senior living center. Yes,
it's
which
going to
is
be
terrific.
fine for me when I just ease into my obsolescence, and we'll be able to grab the bars. And also, I also needed a bar of a different type. Pour myself some nice stiff drinks after that weekend. But at least I did make it out to one restaurant. And how about you guys? Any kind of eating out or Is it just kaopectate for you, Lubie? You're still kind of taking it easy.
Let me. I think he was off the circuit. I did revisit a place that we had done some shows from on my way up to visit the grandkids and my son and his lovely wife Kelly. We had spent a nice afternoon in a pool, and we picked up a pizza and some wings from Costa's.
Oh
Which
yeah.
Costa was there, and he says to say hello to you. He wanted to know how you were doing.
Did he recognized you and did
He
he
didn't
smash
really
your drink?
recognize me. I would have to say that was a 0 on that. Although he kind of like, feigned like he did after I had mentioned your name. But then he, I don't know if he remembered doing the shows there. I guess they left a really lasting impression. But makes a good pizza. There's no question about it. We had a half plain because the kids are not big on anything other than cheese, as is the Mustang, and half pepperoni. Makes a great pepperoni pizza. Very, very tasty. And I would have to say his wings are very, very good. So
Well,
place was cranking and doing very well. So good to see him.
I would say most of everything that we've had there, and again, a former sponsor, but I still have to say nothing but good things about their product. Good, thin, crispy
It
pizza.
hasn't declined at all. I mean, flavor on the pizza and the wings, absolutely fantastic. And then also, I discovered I didn't know that they did this. I want to say they do this every day, but I know you're not a fan of Mexican food, Mike Mayo, so probably not familiar with a lot of the places. But the Baja Cafe, which is I want to say a little south of Hillsboro on Federal Highway. Nice Mexican joint, and I think owned by, oddly enough, like a Jewish guy who came down from New York. And they do a good job, but they have a happy hour. I'm not sure exactly the hours, but it was like all afternoon. If you are at the bar, half price on drinks for like several hours of the afternoon. And of course, you can dine there. They actually have tables in the bar area. So that was a really good deal. If you're looking to just slug down a couple of margaritas and some chips and salsa, some appetizers, something like that. Baja Cafe, good happy hour. I believe that's 7 days a week.
Yeah, it looks like there was a lot of taco talk on the Let's Eat South Florida group over the weekend. Again, we hit another threshold, 116,000. It seems
Wow.
there's 1,000 new users every 3
A week.
minutes now. Yeah, it's impressive. And but I forget there was like a little kind of hole in the wall kind of place that somebody posted a picture of. And like the tacos, it was looked really legit. You know me. I don't like these Americanized kind of glitzy places that has all the refried beans and the melted cheese. I like kind of real deal, kind of like Mexican street tacos where you get it on the real kind of
Yeah, the
freshly
corn.
made corn tortilla, and just the tacos aren't loaded up with everything. It just has usually the meat and a little bit of chopped onions and cilantro, and then maybe you could put a little bit of a hot sauce, the arbol sauce, or green, the aja, the verde sauce. But I didn't jot
No
down the name
cheese,
of it.
no lettuce, no tomatoes, just
No,
meat.
that's
Now when you
Americanized.
go to these Mexican place, Mexican
No.
taco, a real Mexican is like just a schmanky one where it's like
Yeah, it's just
nothing's on
kind
it.
of the essence of the stuff itself. The meat, onions, cilantro, and a little bit of sauce. And you fold it up. But the kind of meat that this place had, it had a board of things like the cabeza, which is cheeks. It had the lengua, which is tongue. It had ojos, eyes. I don't know. I've never eaten an eyeball thing, but this looked like the kind of real deal where they have tripe. And then they have actually on the menu board that they posted, and I got to get the name of the place. It's somewhere up in like north, like Fort Lauderdale near Oakland Park, but kind of like one of these little bodegas. But they call it the Gringa tacos, which are the Americanized ones, I
Straight
guess, with chicken and steak. But they also have the barbacoa, kind of the roasted pork. It looked like a really good menu, and they were priced what I consider okay, because you go to some places now, like whatever, the La Bamba or the Bajas or the Taco Craft, and you get like they serve platters where you get 2 or 3 tacos for like $15, and it comes with the sides. This place, it was a la carte, priced at like between $3 and $3.75
usually
or
$3.
$3.95 per taco. And somebody had the gall to say, those look a little expensive. And I'm like thinking to myself, what? Are you kidding me? You could get like 2 good tacos using kind of real deal, authentic, roasted meats and things that are a little bit more exotic than the typical fare. And they're complaining that you could get 2 of them for under $10. And I just say, I give up, because that to me seemed, look, once upon a time, you could go into those bodegas and get a taco and price that like $2, or $2.50. All right, so inflation has taken hold, but still seemed like a pretty good deal to me. How cheap are these people, Defo? And how would they ever handle a day at the track of us where we're just peeling off 20s and just saying, "Give me a $5."
Obviously, not good at math either. Where they can't do the simple division there. I don't know if you saw this. I would imagine you didn't, and I'm not sure that I got anything of tremendous significance out of it. But last night, Anderson Cooper on CNN, he has this thing called The Whole Story that he does. I think it airs Sunday nights at 11. So the whole story was about how the dining scene around America has changed since one of your favorite topics, since the pandemic. And it was hosted by Bobby Flay.
Okay.
But what he did was, I guess the one thing it pointed out was that many restaurateurs, the ones that ended up having success, had to really pivot on their entire business model. And that in doing so, they may have found even a better path to success than having a restaurant that would be more standard where people came because nobody could come inside. A lot of them pivoted into delivery, takeout, that sort of thing, online business. And the number I guess that was staggering that stuck out was that there were like 110,000 restaurant closings from what was it, 2020 on.
Yeah, but the thing you got to remember,
and that was the chaos that a lot of people were predicting, but I guess it actually did stick. I didn't think that it was as staggering as the numerology was indicated by Bobby Flay last night.
Well, you need context because in any given year, a lot of restaurants close anyway, even without a pandemic. I mean, the stat that got floated around a lot was that anytime a new restaurant opens, even in the best of times, that 80% of them will be gone within 2 or 3 years. That there's only a 20% long-term survival rate for any restaurant in the best of times. So what I would need is a context of how many restaurants closed, let's say in the year 2018 versus the year 2021. And then you'd get a better sense of, did those closings, how many above the norm? And then
you would think it was accelerated though from normal numbers.
I don't know.
Sure.
Here's what I do know, Defo, because I studied the local restaurant scene in South Florida. What we thought was going to happen here, which was a rash of restaurant closures, and then a lot of for sale and for rent signs, and then the commercial real estate market having to come down a little in order to entice restaurants to come back and get in business again. None of that happened. Everything went against conventional wisdom, as is usually the case, because what happened here in Florida, because of our leadership and outdoor, again, a lot of things are geared toward outdoor dining. So our restaurant scene actually boomed more than the country, actually more than anywhere else in the country. So that restaurants, instead of closing, and yes, there were some closings, but anytime a restaurant closed, somebody else was there, usually from another part of the country, like New York or Chicago, and gobbled up the space. Rents actually went up for restaurants. And our restaurant scene had more volume, more business than ever before, such that this is the year now when a lot of restaurants are feeling it. And many of them are also closing because it was such a boom time in those summers where everybody in the world was coming here. Now everybody here is going away again, and it's back to the normal. And we were talking with Elliot Wolf at Foxy Brown last week, and I was like, well, I said, how do you, is it year over year? And he says, yeah, because we don't like to look too far back. But I was like, that would be the only fair comparison because they're way off from last year's numbers. But I said, well, how about compared to like 2018, a typical summer in South Florida where things really slowed down? He goes, well, we didn't look that far back. So this is returned to kind of the norm of the usual snowbirds, and everybody goes away and it's too hot and kids are off at camp and now they're getting back for school. And so bottom line is everything here is always kerflooey, but the rest of the country, definitely there was some impacts from COVID. And, everybody's kind of finding their footing again of how they're going to survive from here, especially with inflation and all that.
It was an interesting show in the regard. I mean, we kind of get a little of this almost as a matter of routine where you're talking to owners of restaurants and, head chefs. And he was telling this story through the eyes of a few different people in different parts of the country that own restaurants. But it's always interesting to hear the story of how they got started and then see their level of dedication and and there are discussions about whether or not they can actually make money doing this.
Yeah,
And you see a lot of people are in it. I mean, look, it's one thing to work for the love of working, like we do on this show, but you're eventually at some point, if you're running a restaurant, they're going to have to make some cash, and it still remained a struggle for even people that seem to be successful on this show.
The
Which was
problem,
interesting.
the problem now here is it's just not just the inflation and the cost of some of the goods, the actual food items, but the labor costs have gone up because so many people that were traditionally underpaid in restaurants, the dishwashers and some of the line cooks, they could go off and get a job working for Amazon or UPS now and make $25 an hour. And the restaurant business still doesn't want to pay that in a lot of cases. And then you have all these other pressures on restaurateurs, utility bills going up. We were talking about that last week, where just for me, my restaurant, my private home, the FPL bill went up from last year at this time. It was $260 a month. My last bill was $380. That's $120.
Oh, yours did go up again.
Yeah, it was like a 40% increase year over year. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's
on insurance rates. That's a
insurance rates.
Business.
Yeah, again, because all these restaurants have to carry liability insurance, and a lot more people are, they have incidents, and then they get lawyers, and then there's slip and fall cases. And Buddy at Southport was telling me last year that he used to pay, it was only like $2,000 a month for liability insurance, 24 grand a year. They jacked him up to $16K a month, an eightfold.
A month.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no longer, and it comes a point where in order to price,
how do you stay open? You got to make back $16K just to pay your.
You got to start charging $20 a hamburger, and the market won't bear $20 a hamburger, so something's got to give. And I don't know what the end result is. Obviously,
where's your man Ron DeSantis on this? Is he weighed in?
Tossing out all the drag queens from the restaurants. So again, there's some real, I didn't mean to start off so heavy this week, but there's real pressures.
Well, it's better than the diarrhea discussion. It's
just like
it's a real issue, like across.
At least it's a tangible food topic, Mayo.
We have friends in the industry, and they're dealing with this. Like it's just it's a combination of a lot of things coming together, and the thing is, it was a false reality where the rest of the country was struggling. Florida was doing strong.
Gangbusters. Yeah.
The opposite. Like
right.
People are like, what's going on? This is normal for summer. This is how summer normally is. We just had the overflow. The rest of the country's gone back to normal. So people aren't running here because it's hot as hell. So it's just the combination of rent up, food costs up, insurance up, and employees either don't want to do it or to get them to work in the industry. It's so expensive that you're so priced out. It's just this year's where restaurants have felt it. It wasn't 2 years ago.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot more closings this summer now. If you go around, like I mentioned last one, I couldn't remember. There's a bar music place in Delray called Third and Third. That was a good little funky place for music, and also had some really good, interesting bar food. That's closing down at the end of the month. I keep hearing rumors about other places, and I think by the end of September, you are going to see some places pull the plug kind of suddenly because they just can't pay the bills with all these new pressures. The ones that do that can kind of survive all this are the ones on their own. Don't have a landlord, like our friends at Tropical Acres, and that's one way they're able to keep their prices low. I guess is a good segue into the first live spot of the day, and then we'll get into our contest winner. And there is no hat this week. That's some good news, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, but even places like Tropical Acres, I mean, they do have some pressures because of the things like the insurance, the utility bills, and the just taxes. When you own your own land, you got to pay the property tax on it. And usually that's something that the landlord passes along. But, when you have a big property, these are all things that even places that own their own land face all these pressures. It's a real struggle to keep prices down. But the good news is the Studiali family, they're so, again, they've been doing this a long time, and they know how to manage good times and bad. And that's why I love Tropical Acres. And it's a place that you can go tonight and save your own wallet from some heavy duty inflationary damage. I mean, after the weekend I just had, I'm going to go running to the bar for the half price drinks tonight for happy hour.
You
And
have all your punch cards
I
accumulated?
do
And
actually.
you get a couple
Now
of
that I'm in the
entrees on the
temporary
house?
office, yeah, I could
Yeah.
show you. I've got one right here, and this one, let's see, it has only 2 of them. I
Oh,
got to
geez.
combine. I think I got another 5 of them somewhere around everywhere. So hopefully, I'll be able to scrounge up enough to get myself a little piece of prime rib along with my half price drink in the bar. And of course, we have half price wine night on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Are they on the honor system, or do they have different shaped punches like they used to on the Long Island Railroad?
No, they
Because what
have
would stop you from just getting a hole puncher and punching out the
They
rest?
don't have. They have a unique design that
Oh,
is
okay.
unique to Tropical Acres. I'm not going to share what it is, but
You hold that
they.
thing up again?
No, I'm not going to hold it up again. If people go back and freeze frame it, they probably can tell. And right now, as we speak, the great.
Here we are doing a spot for Tropical Acres and trying to figure out a way to scam a free
No,
meal.
I'm not trying to say. I'm sure there are other Floridians out there because this is the scam.
We don't
state.
encourage it. I'm just saying. I mean, with human nature being what it is, we used to always, have the hole puncher, and we figure out a way to make it look like we had already paid
You
on the Long Island
guys,
Railroad.
this state, I mean, the way that people have figured out ways to not just rip off ATM machines, but actually rip out the ATM machines using backhoes. And no, our 3 leading industries in Florida are tourism, Ponzi schemes, and Botox. So there's definitely ways that the schemers are going to try to take advantage, but you don't need to take advantage at Tropical Acres.
No,
because
they're already giving the food away.
Very, very reasonable and value conscious. And again, 2500 Griffin Road. We love the Studio Alleys. It's the place for service selection. I saw another person posted something on the Let's Eat group. Actually, it was they were singing the praises of the Twin Lobster special. I guess they had a little discrepancy with a split check. I don't know if that one made it through. They didn't put the city. You always got to put the city. And the city, believe it or not, for Tropical Acres is Dania Beach, but it used to be Fort Lauderdale. So you could call it Fort Lauderdale. You could call it Dania Beach. It's really easy to find. It's right there, Griffin Road, just west of the I-95 and the airport. Go in there tonight. Get yourself half-price drink from 4 to 6:30 at the bar, half-price bottle of wine all night long in the dining room, and get that punch card filled up so soon you'll be able to enjoy a complimentary entree after you get your 12th, after you purchase 12 of them. All right. That's it.
Think about this, though, for a second. You're taking like a night flight out somewhere, and instead of getting clobbered for like $100 for stale chicken sandwich, that's not even prepared very well at the airport, go to Tropical Acres first, and then head for the airport. And you go there just with a belly full of that great prime rib or any of their other fine offerings, and maybe a couple of lobster tails, and now you're off to a good start on your trip. Go to the bar, get a $30 drink at the airport, and you saved yourself like $100 and change.
I mean, you could get the twin lobster special there for 2 main lobsters, $39 with a salad and side dish. That's what basically a double shot drink at the airport costs you. So
you don't get away from the airport bar with 2 people. I mean, you rarely get away, for less than a stick. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy. Tropical Acres, that's the place I go to for a great value, quality, and service. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, more to come on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, and we will continue in just a moment.
It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox, and I'm just kind of glancing through the Let's Eat South Florida posts from over the last few days. Here's a weird one, Defo. It stumped me. A woman named Blanca is looking for a frozen bag of smelts near Plantation. What do you got?
I think I was driving and I saw a bag on the corner. No, I don't know. Frozen bag of smelts.
I got a bait shop.
Go to a bait shop, yeah. I mean,
not a bakery, a bait shop near the
exactly.
Dania Pier, right up and down Dania Beach Boulevard. Frozen smelts.
Are you a
never
smelts
done
fan? I mean, I could see you eating smelts.
I like the Spanish or the Portuguese sardines, where you kind of fry them up, the whole body, little bones, brittle, and crunch them up.
Yeah, always grossed me out, the whole concept.
Yeah, I can imagine. But yet you love tuna salad sandwiches. So
Well, tuna, I mean, it's pretty mild compared to just opening up a can of smelts. My mother was into all of that stuff, whitefish and smelts and, pickled herring and all of that.
Mine too. She loves sardines, and she's been eating them again. Maybe that is
Grotesque,
usually supposed to help the whole intestinal tract, but I guess the sardines weren't oily enough. But in any event, no, I'm not a sardines guy.
I was always grossed out by all of that.
I do like herring occasionally, creamed and pickled herring.
Yeah, disgusting.
I like that reaction.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a contest winner to announce, and it's
good.
Easy work for me this morning, thank goodness, because I've been running around. The last thing I needed was to write 20 names and little slips of paper.
Was there only one winner because of the technicality issue?
Here we go. All right. So it was a weird week because obviously the name.
I see like 10 people waiting for the announcement of the winner here, and I would assume it's because they had the right restaurant and the right horse.
Let's run through the details here. It was in honor of Sandwich Month. It was a Hollywood longtime establishment that is famous for their cheesesteaks. and their fresh baked bread. And the name of I was looking for the full name of the restaurant. I said this during the broadcast. This is one of the bonuses when you actually watch the show, as opposed to just get the clues when you see it on the Let's Eat group. But I was going for the full name, including the misspelling in it, which is a deliberate misspelling. Okay. So the winner of again, the name of the restaurant is Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies, but they spell hoagies, Hogies, as opposed to
really?
hoagies.
And that was part of the
that was part of it. I told it, I'm getting to be a ball buster because I'm tired of drawing all these little names. And
there are going to be a lot of disappointed people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, wait, because that was one of the clues. And the original founder, Sonny Nigro, who now his son John is running the shop. Sonny came down from Philadelphia. I think he actually came down here to play baseball at the University of Miami in the 50s. I don't know if he dropped out or what happened, but he basically decided to start up this sandwich shop because his family, he came from a family of bakers. Bakery up in Philly, and was really renowned for their fresh baked bread. He started up Sonny's. It actually at one point was a full-scale Italian restaurant, but then they scaled it back to just doing some sandwiches and a couple of Italian specialties, and then they became known for their cheesesteaks. Anyway, Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies,
any picture I've seen of them, they look fantastic. They're
good. It's a great place. I mean, and as much as we love Brian and Wicked Cheesesteaks, that's for people up in the north in the Fort Lauderdale area, and for those of us in the south part of the county, Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies has been my spot. Cash only, and they used to be closed on Sundays. Now they're open 7 days. So not sure what prompted that change, but you can get your good fresh baked subs and hoagies there 7 days. But okay, so I was looking for the full name with that misspelling because that was one of the clues. All right, the winner of the race, the Proud Man Stakes for 2-year-olds on Saturday at Gulfstream Park, was the number 3. It was a 3-to-1 shot in an 8-horse field, and yet only 3 people in the contest picked it. 3 out of probably about 50 entrants. So there were only 3 people that picked the number 3. Ben Tomato, I think, is the name of the horse. And however, of those 3 who picked the number 3, 2 of them didn't put the full of Sonny's Famous Hoagies or Hoagies. They just put Sonny's. And while it may always be sunny in Philadelphia, it's not so sunny when Mean Mike Mayo is doing your judging. Only one person picked the number 3 horse and wrote out the full name, Sonny's Famous Steak Hoagies, misspelled deliberately, and that is one of our loyal viewers, Brian Schwartz. Congratulations, you!
Oh, nice job! Wow,
have won.
Oh, man.
You should have Lubie individially present that
Brian and I have gone at it.
certificate to Brian
So
Schwartz.
Brian Schwartz, you and a enjoying a nice brunch for 2 at 10 Palms Restaurant at Gulfstream Park, Sunday of your choosing between now and the end of October. Congratulations. You'll get a full buffet along with a mimosa included, along with tax, and tip is included in the prize package.
The protests are being launched on the chat line here. I mean, you were under attack, Mayo. What kind of
I'm not saying the other 2 names. They might know who they are. But look, I was very specific about this, so I don't feel bad. These sometimes the
you
judges
did emphasize that a
can
few
be
times, even amidst
he was insistent about it. He was actually insistent about it.
Yeah.
So I things wrong, and I was like, "Why would we spell things wrong?" So he said it repeatedly, even in my state. I remember hearing that incessantly Friday. So.
Yes. Now
I do recall you mentioning that.
All right. So congratulations, Brian. Job well done. Saved me a lot of work and aggravation. We always like that. I'll be in email and we'll select the dates. I mean, you'll just get back to me with the dates, and Joe Beja and his crew will take great care of you. I want to share a lovely email I got.
Should I do the disclaimer though? You want me to save us from a legal standpoint?
Go ahead.
The decisions of the judges are final and are not binding, and we are allowed to make any decision that we want, including changing the name of the game and or the name of the restaurant and changing the rules.
I didn't change anything in midstream.
No, because you don't want these people suing you, Michael. I mean, I've been in this business.
This is why I have created a Mike Mayo's Lunchbox Facebook page that has all the rules spelled out entirely.
It's very specific.
Well, and you can go back, and I think if you watch the videotape, this would hold up in court if we got taken a small claim.
Don't give anybody any ideas. We're in South Florida. People are going to sue.
Well, I mean, a guy says he had Sonny's, and you would think if I'm saying hey, I'm going out for a cheesesteak. I'm going down to Hollywood. Where should I go? And the guy's he's probably going to say Sonny's. He's not going to say Sonny's misspelled
Sonny's
Hoggies or
famous steak hoagies, misspelled hoggies.
Okay,
It's not that hard.
What
Who
if
would
they
remember
said,
the rest
okay,
of
what
this?
if they said Sonny's famous steak hoagies and spelled hoagies wrong? But
If they had it HOA,
There probably
No,
was somebody in
there
that
were-
category. Yeah.
there were a couple who spelled it like hoagies, HOAGIE. Thankfully, I didn't have to make that decision because they chose the wrong horse.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
helps.
If they made it that far and they spelled hoagies with the A, I probably would have been lenient.
Okay, so they just said
Thankful that I was spared that. Hey, it's
So there's no
Tom
dispute,
T's
is what you're
birthday.
saying.
That's incredible. Hey, happy
Yeah.
birthday, Tom T.
just
Unbelievable.
He's got that special thing coming up on Wednesday. I understand that you're
I'm on the fence because I had so many things in play between my mom. I don't know. I still might make it up there if he lets me in the door, but we'll see what
All right.
happens on Wednesday night. I can't commit to anything.
That's at Noble
Is it?
Brewery.
Yeah,
and it's going to be
he's having a
special
kind of a
occasion.
nice birthday celebration, but he's going to be cooking for a select group, and he's doing a multi-course dinner, like one of these fancy multi-course where he's going to be bringing all the high-end stuff and also pairing it with some beers there. And just to go to Tom's Louisiana Kitchen Facebook page, you can find all the details there. He's still accepting reservations. Happy birthday, Tom T. You've been a real boon to the show and a good friend, and I appreciate all that you've done for the local culinary scene, elevating the game. And now there it seems like there's these Cajun and Creole and Southern restaurants opening all over the place. I still have yet to taste any kind of food in terms of the ren beans and rice or some of his gumbos that rival his in terms of the authenticity and just overall flavor and deliciousness. Well done, Tom T. And this is a guy who said he was going to retire. And then you figure, okay, he's going to open up a little stand and maybe offer 3 or 4 items. Every time I look at his freaking menu, he's adding more things. He's making life more difficult on himself. He's got like 30 items on a menu now. It's like, how do you do that out of a small kitchen? And then when you're making half the stuff at home and then bring it over, Tom T, take it easy on yourself. I order you to have a little vacation. Okay. That's, and I'm one to talk.
We don't want him to stop, man. I said this when he's in every post that he's at Anchors Away, which is too close for me to ignore. And I said that it's more tempting every time he puts up one of these posts than an apple shining in the Garden of Eden.
It is.
Because I have to get up there. I just have to get up there and try some of his stuff. But no, he does it. I mean, the whole argument about authentic Chinese, authentic this, authentic that. If you were looking for really, I mean, as authentic as you can get out of New Orleans, that would be Tom Tanazzini, wherever he happens to line up.
Well,
that kitchen at the Anchors Away looks like a postage
and apparently there's no air conditioning in there. The owner, I guess, just never installed air conditioning.
And the food's just as good as if he had a fancy place on Los Olas.
It is amazing. Very, very impressive what he's been able to do, and that's just a testament to his skills. And the fact that he hangs out and likes us is a testament to his insanity. But that's just we appreciate it.
I think he has a dark side. I mean, everybody has a dark side.
Hey, so I wanted to share this wonderful email that I got from one of the contest winners who went to 10 Palms yesterday, and I'm just going to read it real quickly. It's from Lori Newberg, who is Eric Newberg's
the
wife. Okay.
Nice.
So Lori wrote to me last night. She said, after 7 months of entering your weekly contest, my husband, Eric Newberg, finally won. We just had a fabulous day at Gulfstream Park. The brunch buffet at 10 Palms was excellent. The staff were friendly and welcoming, and we were so surprised to be seated by the windows right at the finish line. This was especially exciting for me, as this was my very first time at a racetrack. Thank you so much. I don't
tell me she won.
But she said, thank you so much. And here's the best part. That was music to Joe Beige's ears. We will definitely go back and bring our friends. Best regards, Lori Newberg. So thank you, Lori and Eric. I'm glad that you had a great time. And Joe and his crew they do take great care of everybody, whether it's a contest winner or you're just coming in for a regular full-priced buffet. And when we do our quarterly brunch bashes, and hopefully Defo, you'll be able to make the next one in the fall. We'll do it around the fall Keeneland meet, or maybe even around the Breeders' Cup. Actually, Breeders' Cup is Friday, Saturday. So we'll do it around the Keeneland meet. October will be our next quarterly brunch bash. I really enjoy getting out there. It's a great time there. at Gulfstream. Let's go to our second break now. I might as well get it out of the way. And we got to talk about Dine Out Lauderdale is ongoing.
Yep.
All through the month of August. And some of the restaurants, if you go online to visit lauderdale.com/dineout or dineoutlauderdale.com, you'll see when you click on the individual restaurants that they're extending it to the end of September. Now it's on an individual basis. Again, it's all the way through August for all the restaurants. There's over 100 that are lined up and making great offerings for multi-course dinners at special low prices, or also places that are offering brunch, cafes, ice cream parlors like Jackson's with their kitchen sink for $1. Your Place Cafe Max up in Pompano is doing a nice Sunday brunch special for $35, and you know that is a high-quality, high-end place. So to have that offered as part of the Dine Out package is really special stuff. Go online again, dineoutlauderdale.com. Take a peek at all the different restaurants offering all their different special items and menus. And again, some of them have limitations and are only offering it during the weekdays. So Monday is a perfect time to go check it out and line up a place to go maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday. Beat the weekend crowds. That's all part of the deal where you want to kind of get out, explore, support local restaurants during their months where the weather gets a little warmer and maybe the crowds get a little bit leaner. This is the time where it could be a win-win. Support the restaurants, and the restaurants will support you by feeding you and stuffing your face with all kinds of goodies. Again, dineoutlauderdale.com for the best around Greater Fort Lauderdale.
Great idea, too. I mean, you save a bunch of money. You get to try a lot of great places that you might otherwise not have ventured into. And who knows? I mean, a love affair might begin like it did for the Newbergs at 10 Pops, even though they're not a part of this thing. But great way to sample some of the terrific local cuisine. All right, coming back.
Eric is chiming in. He says, can't wait to go back. It was just a great way to spend a beautiful Sunday. So glad it worked out. This is what we do here at the Lunchbox. We aim to please because, our middle name is hospitality here in the Lunchbox, too.
Free food, always good. At a racetrack, how can you beat it? All right, we're coming back with more on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Aruba Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. With a huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, deli specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at arubabeachcafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria.
fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. This August, Visit Lauderdale invites everyone under the sun to indulge in the annual Dine Out Lauderdale promotion. This year's options will be more diverse than ever, with fine dining restaurants, casual eateries, and even your favorite cafes and ice cream parlors part of the mix. From August 1st through 31st, scores of restaurants will be offering multi-course meals at discounted prices starting at just $45 per person. Diners can also enjoy sweets and treats, brunches, happy hour specials, and exclusive culinary experiences. This year's lineup includes 3030 Ocean, Foxy Brown, and Lasso Gaucho in Fort Lauderdale, Even Keel Fish Shack and Aruba Beach Cafe in Lauderdale by the Sea, Cafe Max in Pompano, The Cook and the Cork in Coral Springs, Union Kitchen and Bar in Wilton Manors, and more. Restaurants are being added by the day. For the full Dine Out Lauderdale lineup and all the details, go to dineoutlauderdale.com.
We're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend and having a nice start to another hot, sweltering week. It's August. It officially the dog days. The Dolphins, they work indoors now. Can you imagine if they still had to do those like two-a-days with running those gassers for Shula at the end of the practice at Old St. Thomas? I mean, I think you would really see some collapsed bodies piling up in this kind of heat.
Surprising it's not happening around the country. Does every NFL team now have an indoor facility? I would
probably
think so.
If they have a good union.
The amazing thing about the Shula thing, and you probably used to witness this because they made it like a big cause celeb. I don't know if you were covering the Dolphins back then when they were at St. Thomas. And Shula's big thing was the 12-minute run where everybody on the team had to complete a certain
depending on the
laps,
position.
Which I guess was a quarter mile, in 12 minutes. I don't even think it went by position necessarily.
No,
it was just like a low number. But it was amazing how these were guys that were working out routinely, and they had been in training camp for a while, and literally were passing out trying to run for 12 minutes while competing in a professional sport.
They did do a breakdown by position because the offensive linemen only on 3 laps.
Yeah, they wouldn't be required to do
and
less,
the receivers were required to do 4 or 5, and the cornerbacks. And of course, Mark Duper would never show up to camp until after the 12-minute run had been.
I don't think Marino was required
and
to do it either. Somehow he always had a medical reason for not being there. Yeah, had a note from his mother.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the big talkers lately, the new restaurant that opened in Boca. I don't know if we talked about this last week or not because my brain is a complete guacamole at this point, but a Gallagher's Steakhouse opened in Boca, and I was mystified.
You've been all over that, man. You are really, you're taking on in your best. How do you feel about that, Mr. Fung Mode? Your cross-examination of people that have been
seems
putting
like,
this place
again,
down.
the early reviews, and the place has been open less than a month, which means I wouldn't set foot in the door for another couple of weeks because it's early. But the reviews that have been on there so far have been mixed, where some people are saying, oh, it's great, and others are saying
Point of extreme. You have a new polarizing place.
Yeah, I love the polarizing places. It keeps me in business here. And I love to go in and try it for myself, which is what I tell people, because somebody said, oh, thanks for posting this after somebody posted a negative one saying how lousy it was and how expensive it was. And the guy said, oh, thanks, you saved me a trip. And I was like, why? Like, go try it for yourself. Make your own opinion. And this is a guy who likes Eddie V's and other high-end steakhouses of reputations that, to me, maybe not my cup of tea, but I went and checked out Eddie V's and I formed my opinion. They do a very good job. They have really good products. It's just all happens to be coming out of cryovac bags and nothing particularly local or butchered on site. But that's my opinion. People can enjoy it. Great service, really nice dining room.
Notice how he gets the 2 body shots in there, Lubie, and then quickly.
It was horrendous and it's cold. But they do a really good job.
No, it's not
a good job. I hated it, but
I
they do a great
just
job there, and everybody
loves
loves
everything I don't like in a restaurant, but they do a really nice job. Gallagher's. Here's the thing that mystified me because they announced that they were going to be opening and coming to Boca before the pandemic. I was still writing for the paper when they first made the announcement. So this must have been in late 2019. Here we are. Obviously, the pandemic threw a monkey wrench in all kinds of plans. But 4 years later, it finally opens. They're kind of doing this opening in the middle of the summer, which smart restaurants do. They open in the middle of the summer to get their sea legs under them before the big season crowds come. But what my first thought was like Gallagher's. When I grew up in New York, Gallagher's, and again, I grew up in New York in the 70s and 80s.
Isn't it super old school?
No, really Gallagher's reputation of being a touristy place, like a tourist trap, and it was just And if you were talking high-end premium steakhouses in New York City, first topping the list was Peter Luger's in Brooklyn, which back then it was a really scary neighborhood to go to, and in order to go there, you really had to kind of be an adventurer. And then beyond that, you had places like the Palm and Palm 2 was in Manhattan, was really good steakhouse with great reputation. They also had a place called Sparks, which was known for being the actually, it was a big that took place right outside of Sparks Steakhouse. And then came a second generation place called Wolfgang's, which was a former employee at Peter Luger's who branched off and he started his own kind of version of a steakhouse, borrowing a lot of elements that made Luger's great. And they actually opened the Wolfgang's down here in Miami for a while. I love that. Those are the high-end top places, and I never heard Gallagher's in that mix. So I'm a little bit surprised that so many people.
Well, was Gallagher's across from Madison Square Garden? Was that the big thing?
I believe it was on 54th Street. It was in the theater district. It was like a theater district restaurant where you would go before or after, the theater. And that's why it kind of got that kind of more touristy reputation where like real New Yorkers didn't really go there that much, at least not in my opinion. So I found it a little bit mystifying that everybody is kind of going gaga. But again, all these New Yorkers that move down here, you tell them anything is from New York and it's the greatest ever, So I wasn't that excited to hear about it. But I will be excited to go try it and then probably slam it in the long. No, I no preconceived notions.
It's in an area that's inundated with steakhouses, which is not uncommon anymore. Now you're seeing this quite a bit. Where I even saw this in the chicken tender business, where the what is the place called, the Crazy Hen or something that's coming down here. They're opening up a couple of places. Something there's something hen
makes up names. I love it.
No, what is it?
Raising Cane's.
It's a chicken Raising Cane's.
Magoo's,
but they're like a block away from a PDQ, and I'm thinking, how large is the market?
They go into the belly of the beast.
Two places would be right next to each other like that. That do the same thing.
Trying to siphon off some of the crowds if there's overflow crowds, and Chick-fil-A is always.
And same thing with cheesesteaks now. There's like 3 cheesesteak places, and within 3 miles of Wicked Cheesesteaks.
Oh, well, there's
a couple of new ones. One's been there for a short period of time. I think Brian's been there the longest, and then another place just opened up, just like a block
chain,
away.
The Jersey Mike's just opened up too. Hey, we're not ready to call this party over yet. In answer to the query about frozen smelts, a couple of people chimed in and suggested our place, Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market. I didn't even think of that. I'll have to.
They would have it. Yeah.
I will have to text Jose, the seafood manager, later today, because you would think if anybody has frozen seafood or fresh seafood, really any kind of seafood, then Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market would be the place. So hopefully Bianca can get her frozen smelts there. It's near Plantation. Actually, it's near everywhere because it's so centrally located right there, 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just south of Sterling Road, right across from the classic Seminole Seminole Casino, former old bingo hall. Big chicken on the roof. You can't miss Delaware. It's a great place. It's been there since the 1950s, 60s. Doug Carter and his crew, they'll take great care of you. They have the finest and freshest in seafood, fish, poultry, steaks, sausages, whatever you want for your kitchen needs, your grilling, your you could just cook up a storm when you go in there. Go to delawarechicken.com for the weekly specials on there right now, and the daily offerings, the fresh catch, whatever is in. And of course, it is now Florida lobster season. You get those big, plump, juicy tails that you could throw on the grill or broil them, some lime, garlic butter. That is good. We're going to be in there on the 24th, I think, doing the taste test comparison between the lobster of Florida versus Maine, the big lobster showdown, throwdown. And I'm keeping an open mind and a very open mouth, Defo, because I can't wait to taste the way that
I think the decision will be unanimous on which is
see.
better.
We'll see. But
Having nothing to do with Delaware seafood market and chicken farm and seafood market, they have the best of the best of everything, including fresh smelts, according to the lovely Annette, who
fresh
just posted
and
here on the
frozen
channel.
smelts, yes, or fresh smelts.
Yeah.
Who knows? They get all the smelts. They got all the best of anything that you're looking for. And if
Any
they
kind of
don't,
smelt you want, they have it.
and if you're looking for something and they don't have it, just give him a call, because Jose will get on the phone and he has all kinds of sources and methods of getting whatever you're looking for. And again, the Maine lobsters now, they don't have them on site all the time, but if you give them a call in the morning, they'll have it for you later that day if you're looking for a Maine lobster to steam up. Delaware Chicken Farm Seafood Market is open every day of the week. Again, DelawareChicken.com for all the details. And when you go in there, make sure you tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, you made it, Mike Mayo, through the show.
I am so exhausted.
Say
I'm
goodbye, my
climbing
friend.
right into bed, and we'll wake up later today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. And, until then, it's Mike Mayo for Jeff Defo DeForest. And
enjoy every smelt sandwich. Yeah.
Enjoy every smelt sandwich.